57 News at 6:30.
It's the first deadly shooting in South Bend in nearly 3 months. Where police are right now in the investigation of a shooting that left one man dead over the weekend. Good morning, Michiana. Welcome to ABC 57 News. I'm Emily Pritchard. A few showers are kicking off your Monday after the 4th of July holiday. ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood meteorologist Greg Bobus joins us with a look at that forecast. And Greg, dry out there for now.
Yeah, dry out here for now. If you were up a couple hours.
Thanks, Greg. And new this morning, firefighters battled a blaze in the 200 block of North Olive Street overnight. It happened around 1 this morning at Percy's Heating and Air Conditioning. Fire and smoke, it could be seen billowing out of the front windows there. The cause of that fire is under investigation. And at that same business, police say one man was killed Saturday night after being shot in the stomach outside of that same location where that fire broke out overnight. Now, right now, they do have one suspect in custody. The shooting now brings the total of shootings in South Bend to well over 30 shootings just this year. Well, that shooting happened outside again of Percy's Heating and Air Conditioning on Olive Street. Now, there's no word if that is connected. Police say the victim was shot in the stomach after an argument. Neighbors say they feel like crime has been steadily increasing there on the west side. And Elkhart County Sheriff's deputies are investigating an accidental shooting after a man shoots himself and his fiancee. Deputies say the man was cleaning his gun, which he says he thought had no bullets, and then pulled the trigger, shooting himself through the hand and shooting the woman through both legs. It happened in the 22,000 block of County Road 10 just before 6 on Sunday. And the two, they've been identified as 37-year-old Philip Mintz and Jeanette Collins. Neighbors say they were shocked to see the couple being taken out on gurneys. Both Mintz and Collins were taken to Memorial Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And today, many will gather to celebrate the life of 14-year-old Daniel Holbrook. He was killed last week when high winds from a storm sent a tree crashing down on his Winona Lake home, crushing him. Well, today, loved ones, they will meet together at Titus Funeral Home in Warsaw from 2 until 4 and from 6 until 8. The funeral for the would-be 8th grader is tomorrow morning at 10:30, also at Titus Funeral Home. And a South Bend man died in a Sunday afternoon semi-accident, according to our ABC affiliate WZZM up in Michigan. The crash had happened in the westbound lanes of I-196 in Holland Township. The driver, 50-year-old Randall Spriggs, slammed into the back of that semi-truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the truck was not injured. And police in Gary have 3 people in custody in connection with the shooting death of Officer Jeffrey Westerfield. He was found in his vehicle Sunday morning, which was also his birthday. New this morning, we hear from the grandmother of the man accused in that shooting death. Pam Mornan says her family has a hard time believing Major Davis Jr. was involved, and says the family even has a long history with that police department. Davis's father had a heart attack and died in police custody several years ago. And another police officer has become a victim of gun violence. Officer Perry Wren, a 22-year-old veteran of the Indianapolis Police Force, died Saturday night in a shootout. 2 officers responded to reports of shots fired. Well, 4 minutes later, the call went to dispatchers that an officer was down. Mayor Greg Ballard spoke about the tragedy, and Indy leaders, they said stricter laws must be enforced to make sure guns are out of the hands of criminals. They also want tougher sentences for those who have them. And it has been a violent 4th of July weekend in Chicago. Police say more than 60 people have been shot and at least 9 have died from their wounds. Police have fired their own weapons in 5 incidents, and recent statistics there show the number of shootings and homicides to be down overall for the year so far. And now to Benton Harbor, where in a few hours the election committee is scheduled to meet. They're set to discuss primary elections, which kick off August 5th. That meeting is expected to start at 10 a.m. this morning at City Hall. And now let's head to ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood meteorologist Greg Bobus for a look at our morning weather. And Greg, what are we tracking this morning? Thanks, Greg. It's 6:35, and expect a few delays on your morning commute this week. The State Road 933 or Lincoln Way resurfacing project, it begins. Pretty soon you'll be able to drive that stretch of road bump free, but for now, As you travel through there, expect lane restrictions between Capitol Avenue and Ash Road at the Elkhart County line. Now, the Indiana Department of Transportation is suggesting that if you're driving that route, maybe avoid it so you don't have to face bad traffic and congestion, and to use caution in the area. And get ready to steer clear as the St. Joseph County Highway Division adds road stripes to the east and west streets in Woodland Garage District. Now, if you aren't sure where that is, it's actually from the St. Joseph River south to Tyler Road and east of US 31 to Ash. Now, if you have to pass through the Woodland Garage District, you'll find traffic slowed down to just 10 miles an hour at some points. And all that striping operations will happen between 6 in the morning and 4:30 each day this week. And if that is not enough on the roads for you, the St. Joseph County Highway Division will also be doing a little road work on several other roads. They start road grinding and salvaging operations on Osborne Road from Thorne Road to State Road 23, plus Pierce Road from Kellenworth to Miami Highway, and Maple Road south of New Road. Those roads will be closed so that crews can regrade them, getting them ready for repavement. They'll also be closed from 6 until the drive home from work this week. And renewing the roads seems to be the theme here this morning. In Elkhart, the street department is closing East Lusher Avenue from South Main Street to Sterling Avenue. It's for repavement. They're also closing the Cassopolis Street Railroad crossing between Baldwin Street and East Crawford Street through Wednesday to make asphalt repairs. And at 6:37, air travelers are now facing tighter security measures on direct flights into the U.S. What the Transportation Safety Administration will soon require passengers at some overseas airports to do before they can step foot on a plane. Plus, a health alert for those of you taking advantage of the vacationing season, while you may want to take extra care when traveling to the Caribbean this summer. And you can see a little activity out there, but some scattered showers are moving on through. But how long will that rain stick around? Meteorologist Greg Bobus will join us in a few moments with your First Warning neighborhood weather forecast. And some travelers looking for a direct flight to the U.S. may have to wait a little longer in the security checkpoint line at the airport. That's because TSA will soon require passengers at some overseas airports to turn on their cell phones, laptops, and other electronic devices in order to board. As ABC's Tamon Bradley explains, intelligence officials, they're concerned Al-Qaeda is working on new hard-to-detect explosives designed to blow up airplanes.
Passengers traveling to the U.S. are facing some new security rules. Both Syria and Iraq have become training grounds for jihadists, some from America or the West, which means their passports could gain them easy access to flights.
Our job is to try to anticipate the next attack, not simply react to the last one.
The TSA has asked airports overseas that have direct flights to the United States to have passengers power up their electronic devices because of concerns bomb makers could be hiding explosives in those items. Cell phones, laptops, tablets, and more will have to be working properly. Powerless devices will not be permitted on board the aircraft.
They are small items, but it takes very little explosives to penetrate the hull of an aircraft and cause catastrophic damage.
The latest directive comes amid concerns that radicals from al-Qaeda's Yemen branch may be looking to organize a terror attack. That same branch of al-Qaeda was responsible for the 2009 underwear bomb. Additionally, officials believe some foreign fighters now in Syria are carrying passports offering easy access to the United States. But despite the new rules, some overseas travelers say they can deal with the inconvenience.
I'm not going to stop flying just because of things like this. You know, then terrorists win if you stop flying.
Tamon Bradley, ABC News, New York.
And Washington State will begin to issue its first licenses for legal pot shops. Shops and growers, they're racing to get ready for the first sales, which could start as early as tomorrow. But as ready as these shops are, they are facing a shortage. Growers, they just can't keep up with the demand.
I hear that there's about 500 pounds for the whole state, and that means there's going to be shortages for people.
Now, one shop owner says 2 grams of pot that will cost about $40, which a large chunk of that goes to the state. And it's been 10 years now since the indictment of former Enron CEO Kenneth Lay. Lay was indicted on 11 counts in 2004 of lying to public investors and to the public. And in 2006, he was convicted of wire and securities fraud, but died before his sentencing. Enron, the Texas energy giant, became one of the largest corporate bankruptcies in U.S. history in 2001. The move came after investigators found it used partnerships to conceal debt and it inflated its profits. And 4 people in the Boston area have been diagnosed with chikungunya. Since July 1st, there's actually been more than 50 cases of the viral disease transmitted by mosquitoes. A majority of those cases have been in Florida from travelers returning from the Caribbean. And at 6:43, a little girl allegedly ridiculed in a fast food restaurant for missing an eye will soon be setting her sights much higher. We'll introduce you to the person who hopes to help her see things differently. So I know many of us saw fireworks probably Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, over the weekend, of course, with the 4th of July holiday happening, but maybe you didn't see them this way. This is actually a fireworks display in West Palm Beach recorded by a drone carrying a GoPro. I tell you, that's maybe my new favorite way to watch fireworks.
That is so cool.
Isn't that awesome? Just in the middle of the lights there spinning around. Yeah, it's pretty amazing actually that the drone isn't impacted by the fireworks.
Yeah.
You know, you would think a little explosion there maybe would cause the drone to not stay so steady, but pretty awesome images there. You got to come back and look at it.
Yeah, that's a bird's eye view you honestly don't get all that often. That's really cool.
I've never seen anything like it before. There it is, the GoPro. What do you know? That's maybe the newest way to check out fireworks, right?
Yeah.
And this one will make you laugh too. It was a bad day for drivers in this Massachusetts town. A heap of sheep blocked the street after getting spooked by coyotes, and well, they weren't moving until they felt that coast was clear. Their owner says the sheep were being chased and huddled together to protect themselves. So they're moving pretty quick there. The herd eventually made their way back home and are said to be doing fine this morning. Maybe they just, maybe they were cold, wanted a nap on the concrete.
They're just a little bit afraid, you know, you don't want to be around any predators. You get with your friends, you know, power in numbers.
Probably fireworks going off that spooked them, I'd guess.
Yeah.
They said coyote, right?
Yep, coyote, yeah. Which if it's the Wile E. Coyote, he may have had fireworks. So
yeah, that's the truth.
It depends what kind of coyote you're talking about this morning. We had a couple of booms this morning. They weren't fireworks. We had a few thunderstorms roll through. We're looking pretty good to go now, though, Emily.
Well, thanks, Greg. 6:51, a Florida doctor is offering to help a young Mississippi girl who lost an eye when she was attacked by a dog. Victoria Wilcher made news 2 months ago when her family claimed she was kicked out of a Kentucky Fried Chicken because of her appearance. Well, now a doctor is wanting to make sure Victoria gets a prosthetic eye.
That's a lot of work that has to be done for this child, and it has to be done right. My business is that baby, to help that child.
Now, the doctor estimates Victoria will need about 20 eyes or more as she grows over the next 10 years. He is committed to making sure she gets the help she needs. And 2 Michigan girls who lost both their parents were hard at work over the weekend at the Luna Pier annual citywide garage sale. They were trying to raise money to buy a tombstone for their parents. In 2011, their dad died in a car accident, and this year they lost their mother.
So we can basically find her, because we can't find her when we go in the grave to see her.
Well, the girls are living with their grandparents and money is tight. A family member says additional money raised will go to help pay for college and educational costs. And when life hands you lemons, well, you make a lemonade stand, and that's what a Canadian boy did, all to help out his best friend. 7-year-old Quinn Callender stepped up to help out his buddy Braden Grozdanich, who has cerebral palsy and needs an expensive operation. Now, Braden's parents, they were prepared to take out a loan to cover the $15,000 operation.
After I watched one of his physiotherapy things and I saw how hard it was for him, I asked my mommy and daddy if I could build a lemonade stand to raise money.
And of course, they said yes. Well, Quinn's mom also helped out by launching an online campaign that's already surpassed its goals. And talk about fundraising. Transformers is bringing in big bucks at the box office. Transformers snagged the #1 spot again this weekend, earning $36.4 million, bringing its 2-week North American total to $174.8 million. Melissa McCarthy's new comedy Tammy, it brought in less than projected at $33 million since arriving in wide release on Wednesday. Now, that poor turnout for Tammy, it contributed to the weakest 4th of July box office in nearly a decade. And an accidental shooting sends a man and woman to the hospital at 6:53. What police say happened. But first, police are looking for answers after a man is gunned down on South Bend's west side following a party. Details on that deadly shooting ahead. You're watching ABC 57.
this new week.
Yeah, I feel like we can make it. We can make it happen, I think. It'll be a good week.
Yeah, definitely. Most of today is going to be fine. It's tonight into tomorrow morning that we're really going to watch as we go through the rest of today.
Yeah, the hardest part today is coming off that holiday high, so hope you make it. Thanks for joining us here on ABC 57 News. I'm Emily Pritchard.
And I'm Greg Bowman.
And make sure to stick around for Good Morning America. That is next.